the hardest ones I ever wrote was the Ballad of Susan Smith, which is taken from the Cruel Mother ballad tradition. And we could play the tape of that if you want, but it's, there's a video of it online. I can send y'all a link later to whatever you want, but.
Can you talk about the Cruel Mother tradition?
Yeah, there's this, you alluded to this thing of, even killing your children. So there's like in the child ballads, there is a cycle of songs, the Cruel Mother, and there's many versions of it about how, she leaned her back against an oak on a lee and lonely. The more it bent, then it broke down by the greenwood sidey-o. So the greenwood sidey-o being out in the woods, and this woman, kills her children, and then they come back to haunt her. And it's this whole thing about, you're ruined or you're stuck if you have a babe, so if she could dispose of them without anybody knowing, that she would be still a viable person in society, and that kind of position that women were put in to, like, you'll be ruined or spoiled if you had children. I overlaid that with the Ballad of Susan Smith, this woman who in South Carolina, drowned her children. And I was like, it's this horrific story, this, murder ballad worthy story. But the big twist, of course, is that she blames it on a mythical African-American man. She describes this man, and she, and people are looking for this man. They draw pictures of him and everything. And, she apparently even made it, based it on like Fat Albert cartoons. She just sort of described this character, and that everybody believed her, that this African-American man had carjacked and then driven the car into the lake. So I did this ballad in her voice, and it's actually up online, and I got all these really awful comments, like, how can somebody write about this, and like, people don't get that it's like, even though it's very clear, it's like, I look so innocent and white. A nation's pity for my plight. I look so innocent and white, which is one of the verses that actually Harriet Mullen helped me write, because she was like, I was like, something feels weird about this. It's not totally clear that I'm showing what happened, and she helped me with that one verse.
Leanne, would you mind reading that one for us? You have it handy?
Yeah, I could do it. I could call up the video or the tape. I don't have the book in front of me, but I could probably do, I don't know. I'm sorry, I'm not more prepared. I just got back from work. It was a long,
no, that's okay. It's okay. We can improv this. I just thought if you want to
share the screen
or that one, or I think you should be able to. Yeah.
I know there's one version on YouTube with my friend Tim Main did a little film that's just like a really minimal film that goes with it, but it's, I hope it's on there. I hope I don't, yeah, there it is. Okay. Do I put it in the link, or do I just play it on my screen?
Yeah, just play it. Just share your screen, and we should be able to see it.
All right. I put my car into reverse. Wait, can y'all?
We don't see it, but we hear it.
Okay. Let me just try to share the screen for a sec.
Yeah.
Where do I do that? On the Zoom. Okay. Share screen. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. Oh, it's a new computer. I don't know how to do it. It's all these different privacies and things. I'm just going to play it.
Okay.
Okay. Song.
Yeah, we could just listen.
I put my car into reverse. It's bad. It's so horrible. Okay. I put my car into reverse on a lee and lonely. This will be my baby's hearse down by the green lakeside, yo. I am a daughter of the mill, on a lee and lonely. Young I am, but doomed to kill.
down by the green lakeside, yo. I had a love I thought was true, honestly and lonely. More he rubbed, the redder I grew, down by the green lakeside, yo. Left high and dry and all alone, honestly and lonely. These babes weigh me down like a stone, down by the green lakeside, yo. I see a dark man in my dream, honestly and lonely. He'll be the one to take the blame, down by the green lakeside, yo. Oh no, what have I done? Honestly and lonely. To please a man, I've killed my sons, down by the green lakeside, yo. Naught will cleanse me of this sin, honestly and lonely. To please myself, I'd do it again, down by the green lakeside, yo. A nation's pity for my plight, honestly and lonely. I look so innocent and white, down by the green lakeside, yo. How can a woman rout her womb, honestly and but not choose her baby's tomb, down by the green lakeside, yo. My face, it cracks at what I say, honestly and lonely. I'll spend my life in bitter gray, far from the green lakeside, yo. You did as much as dash our brains, honestly and lonely. Blood on your hands is our refrain, down by the green lakeside, yo. My babes, they speak, the cold black lake, honestly and lonely, shoots forth its hand, more souls to take, down by the green lakeside, yo.
Thank you, Leanne. Wow, that was amazing to hear that. I hadn't heard you sing that one before.
Really? Oh, I used to sing it all the time.
I know.
Yeah.
So maybe you can, this we're sort of bringing forward another tradition here. Helen Adam, actually, last week we played different versions of Black is the Color of My True Love's Hair, and of course Helen Adam wrote a ballad called Black is the Color of My True Love's Skin, which is also a white woman arming the police state to protect herself ballad. So that actually is another interesting and that actually is something coming through. And again, it's that, that dire, again, the kind of racism that gets inherent in the Black versus white dichotomies of even good versus evil, that these songs really hold this kind of, they really hold pretty deeply. And
I think that I always notice
kind of thing. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I always notice the use of color that's one of the things I think about when I hear that thing I wrote again, because it has down by the green lake sideo, I say, and the green is like life, and then it's this weird mixture of, like I said, first I say a dark man in my dream, like a mysterious darkness, and then it says black man, I accuse you. On nationwide, you'll get you. Maybe it doesn't have it in that version. I always play around. Did I say that verse on that one? Black man, I accuse you. On nationwide, you'll get your due.
I don't think so.
Oh, I think I did on that version. I've done different versions, and then it has the I look so innocent and white, and then at the end it says I'll spend my life in, I said bitter gray, but in some versions I say in prison gray. So the grayness between the black and white, and then the last verse says that the hand shoots forth from the dark lake, the black lake. I use the word black, and it's like, this whole thing about, blackness and whiteness, and like, this kind of that kind of connotations of how our culture lays on that, you know. And but the
Right.
gray is sort of this gray area, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, just that Mel's interesting, very precise sentence about that, you know, community belongs to their stories. Belonging happens within the realm of story. And when those stories are deeply forbidden, they're lying in that kind of underground, in the grave, which is where the ballad tradition is, you know, is kind of conjuring that up a little bit. But what's underneath, what's going on in the depths of that unconscious, that are coming forward into the space of community and into the space of belonging, and hitting into a space where we know what that story is, right? So so thank you for bringing that up. I wonder if you could talk a little bit, just, you know, in your work. I mean, if I'm, you know, looking at some of your books in thinking about you today, and I mean, it really, you have been writing for so many years, really drawing from that idea of your roots that go very, very deep into North Carolina, and into not just the songs, but also the plants and the environment and the mountains and the different stories, and just words overheard. Like you know, you jot down phrases and words that you hear people say in coffee shops and on the street, and put those into your poems. So this idea of tradition, if you will, or this idea of roots that you're drawing from, seems just very, you know, deep in your work. How do ballads and songs kind of come into who you are as a poet and your investigation?
Well, I think I always think of myself as like hearing based, oral, so that goes with the overhearing, eavesdropping on people. But I don't know, it's like, it seems to me the ballad work seems kind of really disjunct from some of my other work. I'd love to see how you think it's connected. I like that you're saying this overheardness, the oral culture, but like I always feel like when I go into a ballad, it's like a really different mode. And I guess that's why I'm trying to find ways to unite those practices, or you know, do a crossover, like an avant-garde ballad, like composed of fragments or something, a fragment ballad. I have a poem called Fragment Ballad. You know, things, how are you going to deconstruct the ballad and without like losing its power? You know, it's like, it's such a powerful form, you know, to get sutured into, and like, how do you work with that without being like absorbed into it? You know,
Well,
it's like,
now, Leanne, sometimes I think
yeah.
we have to maybe hear, you know, a little bit from the outside in relation to our own work. In your book, you know, in both Crowns of Charlotte and in the Laurel's Cot, these ballads that when I say ballad tradition, I don't mean just writing a ballad, right? Like what you did with the Helen Adam thing. I mean, for example, how there are songs and ballad form hinted at and woven into and through all of your books, right? So we have Black is the Color. Again, we talked about that last week. So I'm going to read that one, if you don't mind.
That'd be great.
And, you know, Leanne just said that she didn't think that her ballads were experimental or avant-garde or playing around with the ballad form. So just listen to this and let me know if you think that that's true. Yellow this is a epigram from Elvis Perkins. Yellow is the color of my true love's crossbow. Yellow like the color of the sun. Black is the color of a strangled rainbow. Exactly the color of my love. So that's the epigram. And here's Leanne's poem. Black is the color of my true love's arrows. Black is the color of the cat. Black is the color of the nighttime mountains. Black is the color of the heavy stuff. Black is the color of the ribbon snake hanging over the lip of the face jug. Black is the color of outside my window. Inky lumen, gray, silkier modes. Black is the pattern on the woven snake's back. Pitch eye light slides coolly into night's ear. Inky muffled trees, shadow bloom, punctuated by silver light, blue, black, bear paw, exactly the color of my blood. Black iris of my eye, widening at night.
Thank you.
And I have to beg to differ. I think that it's not, again, I get it when you're saying, oh, when I sit down to write a ballad, it's a different mode, but I just feel that it's just a weaving happening throughout your work, and that you are working with that language and hearing it
Yeah.
in so many of your poems.
Well, that whole book is about being in that place where I moved to North Carolina mountains to be in the ballad. You know, it's like that whole book, In the Laurel's Cot, is trying to absorb that and live that tradition. And I'm sure it's everywhere in my work, but it's that, especially in that book. I mean, it's like the Appalachian experience now, you know, like it's sort of how to refigure that. I'm just saying, what I was meant to say is just like when I do hear a ballad and want to write in that mode, it's very powerful, and it's a powerful drug, you know, ballads. And I hope that y'all are taking it, you know. It's like, I got to listen to your other classes, you know, like that you just get that tune is really, it's hard to break out of, you know.
Mhm.
You know, it's really like the heavy stuff that, and it's that minor key, like it's just like so cool the way you can get that in your bones, you know.
Yeah. Do you think it's the minor key is what the drug is, that has that kind of somatic effect?
Yeah, I think it's these old tunes that like, there's this great saying I love of with Richard Price, who collected all the Jack Tales and things. He said the songs aren't good because they're old. It's the other way around. Like, you know, they're not just good because they're old. They're old because they're good. Like they stuck around. They've been through layers and layers of people singing them, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Singing them and taking the rhythm or taking the meter and then kind of morphing it into everyone's own tradition and way of hearing it and way of thinking about it. Yeah. Did you hear a lot of songs as a child? Was that important to you?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the hymn tradition in my church, some of the Protestant hymns, you know, from folk songs and drinking songs, because they, you know, the Protestants protested and wanted to get rid of the Latinate Catholic liturgy, so they used the folk songs that people already knew, like you know, what wondrous love is this, oh my soul, oh my soul, what wondrous love is this, oh my soul. You can hear that's like a ballad, you know. There's these mixolydian, I don't know what mode, I'm not good with the music terms, but it's like these play, and the Appalachian work is like, it's so linked to that you know, the ballad tradition of you know, British ballads, Scottish and Irish, and there's this green serpentine chain of rock that is in the British Isles that is the same as the Appalachians. You can see where it fit together and it split. It's like the actual land is the same land. It's like this big spine of a serpent that's connected. And it's like green serpentine is the name of the rock that's found underneath the mountains of Appalachia. That's also in the British Isles. So like there's this big snake, you know. It's really, you just tap into the snake. But I remember having this great sort of revelation when I was at a concert at this folk festival in Asheville, up in the balcony, and there was this you know, old time music, you know, before bluegrass, it was old time. It was always in this circular movement, and it's like it's very akin to the hymns and ballads, but it's sort of these permutational circles. They don't even have choruses. It just goes around and around. And there was this group of dancers doing like sort of almost like a square dance, but like you know, several squares. And then there was this quilt pattern. You know, some people would just see it as folksy, but there was a quilt pattern on the back of the stage. And all of a sudden I saw all the shapes. It was like a Harry Smith film, you know, the revolving of the quilt pattern, the dancing and the singing. It was all came together. It was this synesthetic experience. And I was just like, oh my gosh. And I have a poem that I try to represent that, it's in a book called Filter that I'm still working on, about being in a somebody's you know, performance or film or dance, or like sort of filtering it through my writing, like having to take notes because it's turning me on so much. But I was trying to talk about that synesthetic experience. And then there's this really funny part after they got everybody, they were sitting in this seats and they were trying to, you know, there's this long concert and this guy got everybody to do the sit down square dance. And you had to like do a square dance and touch your neighbor and do all this kind of stuff. It's like sitting down and stomp your feet. It was really cute. It was like hundreds of people doing that. Yeah, it's like all this. I grew up with a lot of community things like in my church, and my mom was a director of Christian education. So she was educated in these songs and play party things and like group, icebreakers and community builders, like games and stories and things. But I have a book on play party tradition. You said you were going to do a play party? No, you don't know.
Yeah, let's do a play party.
I mean, I'm still learning about this, but that song, like in and out the window, go in and out the window, go in and out the window as you have done before. Now bow and face your partner. Now bow and face your partner. We should do a Zoom once. Bow and face your partner as you have done before. And it's like, you're like in a circle and you go in and out, like one person goes in and out the window like a bird, through the arms of the circle. Did y'all ever play that game? Did anybody play that? Yeah.
Different games.
Cool.
So just, opening it up here. If anybody, I'm thinking also there, people are coming from different traditions and different backgrounds and different experiences, and maybe opening up to that question of the song in your own childhood and your own tradition. What songs, what stories, what are the stories that brought you to places of belonging, whether it be through church or other kinds of religious gatherings, etc., or just those stories that get passed down, and how do they get passed down, through what rhythm, through what snake,
or what camp, like if you did camp songs, that's a good one. Did anybody have any
songs bring people to places of belonging?
Nursery rhymes? Does anybody have any special ones
or anyone have any questions for Leanne?
I have a question. Thank you so much, first of all, Leanne. Hi. My question is, well, what's your process like? I know it must be, I know that's probably a big question. You don't have to answer all the.
That's okay.
But I'm just wondering how you, it's beautiful when you sing your ballad, but what's the process for you internally?
For writing ballads particularly, or any poetry?
Yeah, ballads, yeah. Or any poetry, but writing just generally.
Well, I think I love sort of being given a challenge. Like that's why I loved, I loved being a part of a group like Philip Marinovich's amazing, Motley College, and hey Philip, and these, and like Bernadette Mayer's experiments. Like I love sort of like an assignment, like saying like reading some poem or hearing a song, and then say, well, what would you write after this? And like having somebody give you a perspective or some kind of particular prompt. So I love Bernadette's experiments, like, take a non-connotative word like so, and let your mind play freely around it. So she gives you a very concrete example, but then you have to do your own. It's sort of hard to distinguish between that and just like prompts, like in a workshop, but like some people are really gifted at doing that. Philip is, Sophia Dahlen, I've been taking her workshops, and Kristen's really good at like getting deep in the somatic, like looking behind it, and I just really, really loved being, given an instigation. And then I learned how to make an instigation for myself, like, for example, Jennifer Firestone did this great book with, was it 9 syllables?
10, close.
10 syllables and 10 lines. And
Yeah.
so then I was like, I'm going to do 11. So I did this whole poem that's like 11 syllables and 11 lines. And it was a few years ago, and I was like, just trying to get away from the craziness of all the things I had to do. And I would go to the roof, and so my rule was I could only write the poem when I was on the roof, and it had to be an 11 syllable lines and 11 things. I was also trying to break out of sonnets because I was writing so many sonnets over and over. So I just decided I'd be 11, 11. And I like 11 because I'm October 11th birthday. And like, you can sort of make up a form, and then just sort of run with it. Like that's part of the creative act, is to figure out what your form is you're going to do. And you could just do one of them, or you could do like a whole book, or like, your whole life, and have them concurrently going. I mean, I just like these kind of games. It's like playfulness with language and what it can do. Like try to, like Bernadette Mayer said, to write in as many ways as you can imagine. And that's helpful to be in a group like this where you think of new ways, you know, to write. So form is always very important to me. Like it's a way to get out of what if I just, you know, just writing free. But then writing free is good because you see the weird patterns your brain makes, and then you can make a form out of that.
Yeah.
So it's all intertwined, you know. But yeah, it's a lot about playfulness. I think just, you know, being your child self, you know, always.
Mhm.
Don't forget that part, you know, and cultivate it and honor it and see how it gets more complex as you get older. And, you know, and a lot of my, like one of my last book was, that was last published was a book about having a child. And I did, like, for example, I did, there's a whole part, it was like the courtship part sort of all over the place and different allusions to that. And there's this whole section of every, I read a poem for my kid every month of their life from birth to like 2 years old, 3 years old. But and some of the months have more poems than others. And but if it came to the 8th of the month when they were born, it was like their month birthday. And if I hadn't written for that month yet, I would write a poem, stuff like that, you know. So you make assignments for yourself. And then always listen, you know, listen to what beams in, just write it down. And other really important thing is to keep writing in your notebook or wherever you write, and then just keep, you know, don't censor it, and then look back at it later and you'll see the patterns and you can shape it or whatever. Usually it's a lot better than you think it is when you're writing it, like trying to just keep going. The magic notebook effect, call it. What?
Oh, Radiance has Radiance's hand up.
Oh, Radiance, where are you? Oh, I see you.
There I go. I'm so impressed. Well, your poems are beautiful, amazing. But your whole kind of like, I'll take this, I'll that, I'll play the game. There's a permission that seems to be, it's either innate or you're holding on to it, to be child in the child place. And I wonder if you do that, you hold that on purpose, or if that's just your nature. And I have 2 children. I identify with pushing them in the river, you know, in that, like, it's hard. And did having a kid make it easier or harder to give yourself permission to stay there when you also have to be the grown-up? Is that making sense?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, I mean, it's a big challenge when my kid was little, we would be more playful together, and then now they're separated because they're going to college and they're like the teenager and they don't want to, I have to give them their space, you know, and that's been a huge learning thing for me, you know. But yeah, I think it's part of my personality just to be playful. And as I get older, sometimes it is something I need to say it's okay to still do, because it's like the culture is always making you grow up and like be responsible. Like it's just like, but it's a deep responsibility to keep joy and playfulness in your life, you know. And that's like one of the things I think poets can give to people, is that permission to remind them that to have joy and play, and that without it you die. I mean, like that's really important. I don't know, it's just it seems like that, yeah, like I was in a movie, and this as just an extra in this movie, Story of Jason, that Stephen Winter did, and he cast me. I was in a party, and I was like the only other woman in the film besides Sarah Schulman, who played the main character. And I was like, what's her name? It's like a filmmaker. Anyway, they put me as on the list of cast as Joy Poet, and I was very excited about that. That's what they just put my name as, Joy Poet. I was like, that's what I want to be. But yeah, but that's what it's interesting that Kristen read that poem about, you know, black is the color of the heavy stuff, because I feel like the heavy stuff, that's what I always say, Tony likes the heavy stuff, my partner. He likes long, heavy works and, like, you know, violent images. Like he likes, heavy movies, and a lot of movies I can't even watch with him because they're just too much for me. I just don't enjoy it. But it's like, it's really important to go there to these really heavy things, you know. And how do you do that with playfulness? And like don't just stay in the playfulness, you know. You have to think, you know, bring the deep play of language to these heavy subjects, not just avoid them. That's what ballads are good for, because they're like dealing with this really heavy material. So that's one reason I think they're so potent.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Thanks for putting your finger on my kids are 16 and they insist that, it's the time of them insisting that
Yeah.
I act like an adult. Like, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I liked it better when you were 5.
Yeah, I got criticized for singing in the street, or like, I had to repress a lot of my natural tendencies to just be expressive, because my kid would be very embarrassed.
Yeah. Humiliate them. Yes. They're just
And
like,
now they've gone to college, I think I'm having a renaissance of being crazy.
I will look forward to that. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? I have the grid on. Oh, there, Matthew.
Hey, Matthew.
Hi, Leanne. Good to see you. Hey, I have a quick question. Did you ever try to write in the traditional ballad form, with the 8 syllables, 6 syllables, and a particular rhyme scheme and quatrains?
Oh, yeah.
Did you?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's sort of, I think one of the ways I started that was when Ed Sanders made a call for, everybody to rewrite Amazing Grace. And that's one of the first one in my book, Polyverse. There's 3 Graces. There's mine and a collaboration I did with Lisa Jarneau, and one I did with Bernadette Mayer, but that's in the ballad meter. Amazing space, how intergalactic the wormhole that beamed up a quark like me. I once was Kirk, but now I'm Spock. 'Twas Tribble in another quantum reality. And you could add extra syllables around those beats. It's 4 beats, 4 beats, 3 beats, but you can have quantum reality. You can have more syllables.
Very playful. And you
Bob
always
Dylan
sing.
does that.
Can you always sing them in a cappella, or do you play around with strings and stuff too?
Oh, I have a dulcimer, but I don't even know how to tune it. But I just sort of do like. But yeah, I'd love to play with. If you want to play sometime, I'm trying to work towards playing with musicians, and I've worked with musicians as a drone in the background, and then I improv over it. But I haven't done a lot of like more regular kind of singing with instruments. But I aspire to that.
Cool. Well, I love that that Amazing Grace. I'll have to look that up. Amazing Space.
Yeah, in my book, the Sleep That Changed Everything from Wesleyan, there's 8 ballads, and they're all in ballad meter. They're interspersed throughout the book. Yeah.
Cool.
And there's usually a few ballads in each of my books. Not all. But.
It's great timing for that question, because that is really where we're at right now at this juncture in the class, right? Because the past couple of weeks been working with these ideas of rhythm and meter, and kind of the idea of plugging in language into different rhythms and into different meters. And now it is time to go ahead and plug in to that traditional ballad rhythm and meter, which is very easy to find online. We'll post it. Leanne gave a great prompt, right? Which is Amazing Grace. There's other, or to look at any of the ballads, that listen to the songs on the playlist, even choose one that seems to be really written into that ballad form, and then plug in language, however it falls, without too much overthinking, without too much, without too much planning. Just plug the language in and then see where it goes, see where that leaves you at the end. If there's not if there's not a story that starts to come through.
I thought of a more stricture, Olympian almost version of that. Like I was looking at the Tam Lin lyrics, and there's different lyrics to the, versions by the songs by Fairport Convention and Pentangle and different things, but they're more modern. But I was like, it was like Hall, like just get the end words. You could even get the end words and use the same end words of a ballad, and then just write and try to connect them and like see what kind of story comes out.
Yeah, and again, as I always like to say, let the rhythm tell the story. Like, don't go in thinking I'm going to write about something. Rather, fall into the rhythm. start plugging language into the rhythm and then see what the rhythm wants to say, what story that is that's going to come through that. And it'll always be a bit of a surprise.
Yeah.
And that's part of the magic.
That's why I said just like get a tune and like carry it around in your head and then and just keep singing it and then you'll get a new poem.
And so Helen Adam very famously, I think I posted this in a reply to somebody at some point, but she composed her ballads because she was a bike messenger in San Francisco in the late 1950s, early 1960s. And she would, as she was riding into the bicycle rhythm, she would hum the tune of the ballad. And then, as you know, and she felt that the rhythm of the bicycle and the rhythm of the ballad really were going together, so that then by the time she got off of the bike, an entire ballad would just be downloaded through her. And then she would have to grab whatever random receipt or scrap of paper or napkin or newspaper and write the thing down.
Oh my, I forgot that. I think you told me that a while ago. I
was asking about process. That's a good one, right? Whatever your routine is, hum the ballad. Hum the ballad tune while you're in that routine. Just be curious about what comes through on the other side at some point. And that's another question of that embodiment, right? Sometimes that embodiment comes from the humming of the tune.
But I know you said not to write about certain things, but I do think it's fun to like do occasional things. And also like if there's a particular person in your life that there's a story that nobody knows, or like in your neighborhood or like, you know, in your community that like the ballad of, you know, Harry Golden or somebody, like, you know, tell a story of somebody, of what they did and put all the details in there, you know, and like it keeps it alive and you can perform it for people and like share it. It's like a tablet, you know, think of the ballad as like the penny liner, the penny sheets that they, you know, like the tabloid newspapers, you know, and you could spread good news too, not just the horror, you know, like.
Yeah. Anybody else have any other questions? So we thought, and see, let me pause before moving on. So Leanne, you had written, and I don't know if you have that. I can pull that up if you don't know where that is, or if you didn't put that on your computer or something. But you had written a counting down rhyme.
Oh yeah, I have it. I actually pulled that up. Yeah.
And that was a counting. So, you know, again, this idea of the rhythms that they become embodied, you feel them, and then you begin to hum them, and then you can write into them your own story. That is the way that this transmigration, you know, happens. So Leanne had written a counting down rhyme in the meter of, or at least in the storyline of that Helen Adam ballad, which I played here at the beginning. So Leanne, would you, if you have that, maybe you could read that.
Okay. And I called it Croon. I hope I remember the tune. 7 ballad singers went down to the stream to sing about their lovers and also to scream. The first one was flame-haired to sing down the moon. She tumbled all tousled, her arms in a rune. The second was a brown-haired lass, her face like the rain. She supped up all the moonshine with every refrain. The third one, she had golden hair as bright as the sun. Several wild familiars around her did run. I think there should be more tune here. You better watch out, though she might have a gun. The fourth one was raven-haired, as dark as the coal. Her instrument of choice was a large shining bowl. She plays it with the feather mallet, soft as your soul. The fifth one had silver locks as curly as the west. She sat under willow tree and she sang the best. The sixth one's hair was covered up, so no telling if She had a hair upon her head, or she was naked as a stiff. The seventh one's hair was a luminous magenta. Out came a rainbow in place of her placenta. They all sang together, their hair in a cloud. From whisper soft to plain talk to chanting out loud. They sang down the sun and they sang up the moon. They listened to the river, the ways it did croon. So if you hear those sisters a howling in the night, be careful what you wish for, you'll get second sight. If you choose to join them, though, you never will regret. You'll sing up the moon and then watch it set. Together with your sisters weird, you'll make a strange chord. The river will answer you. That's when the mountain roared. That's it so far.
Thank you. So everybody, we're gonna hum. You can keep your mics on mute because it's going to be way too chaotic, although it'd be so much fun to do that if we could all do that together. So humming in your own space, your own time, that tune, right? And Leanne and I will maybe hum it. Well, I'll you know.
La 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 la.
And then you can vary it a little bit with the na 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 na.
La 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 la.
Everybody, this is play. This is how we play, right? When we're language artists. So play, hum, hear, and write into that tune. Da, 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 da. You can write a counting down rhyme from 7 to 1, 7 stanzas, each counting down. 7, 7, da, 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 da. 7 what? You know, whatever you, 7 adjective ducks, whatever you want to put in there. It is, you know, Halloween coming. I have my decoration here, as you see. And so you could make a macabre kind of homage to the underworld, whatever you want to do. But let's go ahead. Let's spend, actually, if you wouldn't mind, I just want to have that sense of a collective. So I interrupted and I apologize. I'm going to start again. And I will mute, and everybody, let's hum for 2 minutes. I felt that. Thank you so much. Let's take about 15 minutes and just download into that tune, whatever comes. maybe a couple more minutes. Let me know what you think. So just checking in, see how the spell of that tune is landing.
Could you do that when you did the other part? The chorusy part you did with the da, and you went somewhere else.
Da 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 da
Yeah.
da 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 da.
How do you remember that? Da, 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 da,
No, that's what she does. Helen Adam. That's what Helen Adam does.
Right.
Yeah. And it's fun. That's where you get to really show your prowess as a singer. No. Da, 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 da.
That's the part you can get everybody to sing with you.
Octave, right? That octave that drops. You go all the way up and then all the way down. That's a good tune. So I know it's probably a little, I mean, that was a quick download, but the invitation really, and again, the last 4 classes of this 10-week class are for sharing. So no pressure. If this, didn't quite gel in any way or whatever, you didn't quite finish it. But if anybody would like to share, since we're all in the tune together, and you don't have to sing if you don't want to sing. What's
I'd love
interesting,
to hear something. Yeah, just anything.
Yeah.
Parts, lines.
parts, lines, some place where the tune kind of captured you and.
Right, I got a Hollywood ballad.
All right, Mo, thank you.
Halloween ballad. Okay? That's what I got missing. So let me get my words here so I can get him there. Oh, there he is. I am the friendly vampire. I suck others' blood. Guess if time gets tough, I could suck my own. Maybe cut my finger or maybe stub my toe. Go with nowhere to go. Into the tomb I go. Night comes along, scares you with this song. Get back and get weak. And hey, maybe suck some more blood. There's such a great life I got. Spend my time, days out, looking for the next victim. Hey, I'm the friendly vampire, and here I go.
In the spirit of play, Mo, thank you very much.
A little vampire marionette, you know.
It's really, that was the spirit of play right there coming through. Thank you very much.
That was charming. Thank you.
Thank you. I love my little puppets.
Yeah. The Ballad of Mo's Puppets.
The Halloween ballad. Let's go. It's a little longer, but I didn't want to just take the time of others.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you.
Well, like Belle Stewart and them would sing ballads for like 20 minutes, like or something, like one ballad.
Yeah, it's not that long, but you know, I cut it down a little.
Well, how many did other people feel that, you know, once this tune catches you, you could just kind of go on and on and on and on. I mean, it's sort of, it's only the limitation of your own body that has to stop it. I mean, it is drug-like in that sense. It exceeds the physical form. And so thank you very much. Anybody else?
Radiance has her hand up.
Okay.
I'll go, but I can't carry the tune in the proverbial bucket, so I'm not going next. Somebody else who can sing first.
You know what, Radiance? You can just read it. That's the thing. The tune sometimes is just embedded in there, and it's just a poem, and that's okay too.
Y'all can hum or something. I don't know, because that's hard for me to remember the tune, but I think I got the shape. So I just threw out the number thing, because I mean, I just do it with the numbers. 7 days in 1 week, 7 days of blue, days, heavens dazed and knees weak, whereas this tune. 7 days were lonesome, 6 days I'd swoon, 6 days, 6 days I would pine for you. 5 days of working, 2 days of rest. Whoever gets to live that way, they got it best. 4 days forever, I'd wait without end. See, 3 days of aching is too much, too cold for one so sad as I was 7 days ago.
Hey.
Thank you. See that, and that's the thing. You don't need to sing it. The tune is carrying it. Carries the rhythm, carries the words in motion, in meter, as Robert Creeley would talk about. The idea of measure. What's the measure of the poem? What moves it forward in time? And that's, in this case, is the tune. And what a beautiful piece. Thank you very much.
I would like to be able to sing it, but
That's
another lifetime maybe.
Sometimes the poem exists without the song, and the song is still there. That's all I'm trying to say.
Cool. Thank you.
I like the colors in it.
Hey, Philip.
Yeah, I follow colors too. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Philip.
Hi. No, please continue. I'll go after you're done.
Oh, sorry, Radiance. Oh, unmute Radiance.
Unmute Radiance.
Still unmute Radiance. Wait.
Oh, I like Leanne, I put that the colors come in and then afterwards I see they're there. And then the next time I go through, I kind of make it a little more vibrant. Like if there was red in there, I might knock it up to crimson or something. Because I like that.
Hi, Leanne. I really like your idea of telling a story that no one else would really know about, like in relation to someone close by, someone local or in the neighborhood. So I did something about that. It's called The Ballad of Bill Archer. I keep getting dirt in my left eye, dirt in my right, dirt in my third eye, dirt in my insight. Dirt when the deer fly out of the car, dirt when the magpie perches, the guitar snaps a string and throws dirt on everything epos echoes. Dirt through the bloodstream, that's where it's healthy. Dirt inside the wet dream, dirt in your nappies. Dirt in your nap dream, dirt in your fuse. When you blow it, Dirt comes out and jails you in its lower rooms below the earth, where you came from dirt. The monastery in its hoop skirt moonlight, whirling through the dirt men, dissolving them with rain. Dirt that hides the elevator back. Dirt that hurts your brain, stuck together with pine sap and wine sap, and the dirt sap of where you're from. And where is that? Dirt of no origin story, dirt of emptiness, dirt within your radar sphere, and dirt of empty nest. I come from Bill Archer's house, where the April snowdrops shoot up in October, now an ecocide psychosis episode of coronary unnosis, unbeknownst to dirt. But there in its ear, dirt inside the third eardrum, dirt inside your tears, falling down the gusle, the one-stringed Balkan bowed in string instrument, and the epic sobbed from it. For loss is all you got today, followed by impalement, and you bleed out into the dirt that begot you even now, and you spring back up out of dirt, a resurrected plow, beaten from a sword into farm equipment, and now you are an unknown tractor implement, thrown from the tractor exhaust pipe. The smoke tracks you everywhere. The locusts burn in the locust tree with chirping. Dirt, 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 where you come, and dirt where you'll be. Dirt right now for King Wenceslas in St. James Infirmary. Dirt because I don't know exactly what that means. Dirt inside abject position loves its dirt dart fiending. Stick a dart into your arm and wake up in a lake reeling. Surface and become a raft, and on the water you will laugh and come back to your source. Their dirt mixes with bubbling water, and the planets are tossed off course. In the sea of oleander sauce and space, we nurse each other awake, the dirt and I. The dirt came from Bill Archer, deep gossip from the sky. The dirt dissolved and I was it, so who now am I before you or behind? The dirt inhaled from burning leaves will get you so much high, but breath will get you higher to where dirt comes from the sky to rescue you from blindness with a wake-up hit on top of your head. The dirt will bake you into bread, and you will feed the dead awake, and they will be so grateful for it. They're taking you for ice cream now on the cold shore beyond the sound of any sonar you can hear. Are you bat or dolphin now? The dirt's washed out of your ears, swimming through night sky and flying through the Danube, where it intersects the Sava. And on those banks, you came from the nebula tower to be a star, and no one sees you, it's still day out, and you're not stillborn, your emptiness form and formal emptiness. Jump out of your suit right now and try your human dress. Nakedness, nakedness, nakedness. Dirt is dirt is dirt is dirt is blessed. Dirt is never needing to, but loving to confess. Not because you did a wrong, but because you are song, song, song in pan-orchestral transmigration gong.
That's what I'm talking about. Like, get the heavy stuff. Like, I love that. It's like, I knew Philip would do something wild. Like this, just like how it's all starts out like a ballad and it goes, just immediately goes into this wild place, you know, like, and just all these different rhythms and like coming back to that rhythm, and so good.
Yeah, and the dirt's like a seed word that actually creates like so much dirt that then all the other words are growing around it.
Is Archer based on a real person? The Ballad of?
Yeah, yeah. He's actually my neighbor, and he's really cool. And every once in a while I see him and we have this totally far out conversation, which like saves me from like total depression. You know, he's just one of those great luminous beings, and he walks around all the time. I walk around all the time, so it's always great when I see him.
Well, thanks for passing on the message. This
Yeah,
beautiful
yeah,
being. It's
yeah,
cool.
it's great. Thanks.
Great use of the
Thanks.
forum.
Yeah, thanks for suggesting that. Yeah, there's just something about the local that's so vivid. You know, it's like you don't, it's this William Carlos Williams thing of like close to the nose, where like it's so vivid that you don't even see it. Maybe you're like overwhelmed by it, but then when you get this form and like where, oh yeah, that's the thing to do, like actually embrace exactly the locality and the idiom of that, and also all of the other idioms that are coming through from your history.
And that's another really beautiful prompt maybe to think about this week, is to write the ballad of the local, you know, of the thing that's like right next door to you.
The local vocals.
Mm-hmm. The stories of your neighbors and other close things. Thank you very much.
Mine starts out with a neighbor.
Oh, awesome.
I think I lost the beat, but
no, the beat is always with you.
okay, I called it Ballad Soon Forgotten. Neighbor's car got towed away and then it got dropped back off. Trying to remember where someone posted a song that moved me. All the things I was sure I would go back to, they don't come back for me. Dog stuck her tongue down into my iced coffee. I needed that to continue through the laundry. All my shirts have holes in them. One of the subjects they call perennial. Holes at the center of things, not holes but openings, and that's where I'd like to go. Through a hole in my shirt and into an opening, buttonhole, black hole into what I used to know, as in I had started feeling around long enough to begin to grasp. No, that's wrong. I felt into it all long enough to begin to be able to piece together thoughts that might evoke a gesture at something too simple to hold. The hole in the center of all my sorrows, all my trials, soon be over. Abby quotes someone about mending, darning, being about repoliticizing the cast-offs. Maura asks how the house mouse is. Me. Okay, I guess. House mouse pulling carpet out thread by thread. House mouse texting him a photo from bed when I'm in the corset and stockings he gave me, but they're strangling my house mouse thighs with their elastic. You can't tell that though in the picture. The lines down the back of the stockings, the lines across my throat we call wrinkles. I wrote about them when they first came along, and now they're many and deep. I tell myself I can adjust them by making my shoulders stronger, which would pull all the skin up and over, almost like pulling it back through time, but who fucking cares? Leanne holds a snow globe to the screen.
That's beautiful.
Ooh, wow, amazing. And it really found a particular form at the end. It was so different than the beginning. It's really evolved and transformed. That's a kind of homage to Tam Lin in a way. This transmigration, transfiguration of energy and form. Beautiful. Mm-hmm.
What were the first two lines again? Like the very beginning?
Neighbor's car got towed away and then it got dropped back off.
One of the things I was thinking is, do you always have such images like the corset and all that? Do you have like such strong images in your poems, or did the ballad thing help you do that?
I don't know. Like Philip was saying, just kind of recollecting on what I saw locally today or recently, or, you know, what I've been looking at inside my phone. But
yeah.
We can talk about this later, Leanne, but I remembered, maybe it was in Invisible College, you had shared a ballad or a song from like a while ago, and I couldn't find it or remember what it was. Maybe I can find more info to help narrow it down.
It was something I wrote or something somebody else?
Yeah, it was something you had wrote and sung as a backup singer for someone well known that had maybe passed away. Anyway,
That
I'll
sounds
keep
interesting.
thinking.
I want to know
about
what that is. A backup singer?
You were like supporting or traveling with someone or singing on stage with someone, and you shared the lyrics, and they were like hilarious and dirty.
Oh,
I want to
Anyway,
know what that is.
you know what, Leanne? That's your assignment. Write that poem.
I want to find it too. Thank you, Cassandra.
Hey, Sam.
Hey, yeah, I have a little something that I can read. Thought this was an interesting sort of exercise. I don't normally sort of write first drafts in any sort of form, and so the limitations were interesting. And so I don't know. It's kind of silly, but I enjoyed the process for sure. It was something very different. Mutagenic flowers grow along the fire escape and greet me with their nacreous glow when winter dark has got me low, while a couple soft-boiled billionaires are de-threading the world. How grand we're all alive to see societies unfurled and piecemeal used to floss with glee the rusty teeth of dynasties. And 10,000 micro-influencers with dull colloidal skin link arms and walk into the sea. Good thing it's not too far. The tide so kindly came to them, so hard these days to find a car. The future is a canyon we can't help but gaze into and lean and slip in soundlessly. Cute games played with uncertainty. That's as far as I got.
Wow, thank you. And that's like the ballad of the technocrats or something like that's amazing. That's really cool that you really captured, you intersected with the present moment. It's really some of those lines are right on. Thank you. That really carries.
Thanks.
That's funny that you thought that was silly. I didn't think that was silly. I thought that was dead serious.
Maybe I think the song really, I mean, it got stuck in my head. And so it kind of, the lilt made it seem a little more joyous than it actually was when I read it.
And I think that's the funny tension that play brings forward, right? When you really just let loose and enter into play, this thing comes forward and surprises you. So, and Derek has something. You're muted.
I feel like barely literate related to the rest of you, but mine's called Ballad of Shit Never Done. Some things I get done early, others I finish late, but most of all, I never leave enough time to sit and wait. I'm anxious to begin living and worried about what I'll miss. All I want is everything, adding too much to the list. I'll never have a chance to do all of these things. I can't seem to finish number one before I'm on to number two. I think I'll die from running up and down, back and forth, always forgetting to pause and breathe, to reflect on what each thing's worth. The things I must get done, I always seem to set aside. Annoying sense of emptiness, like I have no reason why. And that's as far as I got.
Ooh, and you carried a different tune there at the end too.
Yeah, you gotta go up. You got to go up to the fifth on the third, I guess. And
you got all country western.
Yeah, you did, and it's funny how I like because there is something kind of monotonous about carrying a tune, you know.
Oh, yeah.
So the fact that what you were writing about was the monotony of carrying the day, it really worked with that form. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Matthew, I saw you unmuted for a minute.
Here we are. I have mine's short and sweet. I have a dog barking in the background, unfortunately, but that gives it character.
Yes.
I think I was influenced by hearing about Helen Adams cycling and coming up having a melody or a tune in her head and then riffing on it. So mine was while walking or being in nature. The evening lit the skies into a fearsome purple hue. We sat along the forest bed beneath the moonlit dew. Our talk wound round some topic strange, past lost red hammers in the rain. We walked along the path till dawn, all sleepless, disarranged. The birds, like migrant children, spent hours in love's exchange. We hoofed it up those blue hills and valleys, came the rain. So it's just a beginning. Yeah, little traditional.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. Yeah, and carrying that tradition,
Yeah.
that tune. It's really wonderful. And great practice, right? To hunker down into that as a poet.
Yeah, it's good.
Look forward to hearing more how that evolves.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Krista.
I can share something.
Thanks, Veronica.
So I wrote a very millennial ballad. It's about French. Okay. Oh, Sandy, oh, Shandy, oh, summertime splits. My eyes are awash in some Aperol spritz. The scene is a heavy stroked French painting. The lights, shiny blur orbs and dashes of light. My date totally fine and saying something. My speech, oops, it's slurring, and there goes my shoe. The heat is fantastic. My skin is aglow. I throw out my sun hat into the hot air, hoping to catch it a ride on a draft, floating, soaring high up on a finger of wind, like a personal surveillance drone gliding by overhead. If my mother were here, well, she'd put me to bed, but she's tucked in a townhouse some hours away, and I don't have anything I do today. So toward this bartender's rent bill, my Benjis will go. And for the rest of the day, pal, keep up that mimosa flow.
Been there, done that.
And I love all the language, the very particular millennial language.
Thanks. I started with the Aperol spritz. It just in the summertime splits, it just kind of rang. And then I literally was just really imagining, drunk brunch in the summertime.
Perfection. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you everyone for sharing. It's been really, really inspiring.
Yay. Jennifer.
I think Autumn might have been before me, but I don't know if we're.
Oh, Autumn. Wait. Oh, Autumn. Hey, yes. Oh, I see there. I have to look at the actual list. Yes.
I was. I felt like going after Derek because I felt like mine kind of was in a conversation with his a little bit with not having enough time kind of theme. But anyway, don't know if it makes sense, but I'll try and sing it. Sorry that I showed up late. I lost my list and keys. Sorry that I giggled when you forgot to snuff your sneeze. Sorry that my kid screamed at the moment that you bowed. I guess I'll have to stay till 6 if I cannot be there now. I can't believe you wore that shirt, the one that says go home. I can't believe you called my wife while I was on the phone. 3 years for you at an iron desk and 4 more for your hair. I found a quick replacement, but I cannot tell you where. I'm humming with the kettle, playing solitaire and Bach. I'm breaking my own pretzel sticks and folding my own socks. I never found the list and keys, I threw away my phone. You can call me by telepathy, but I'll probably be gone. I fell asleep in silence, save the ticking of the clock. I almost lost my balance when a voice told me to talk. I heard my own faint whisper mouth the dimming of the day, when Mercury and Jupiter pulled all my words away.
Wow. And the rhymes, you're on it. That's it's like coming out of you naturally, those rhymes.
Thanks.
Beautiful.
Felt like, oh, Susanna the whole time.
Yeah. Really rolling into it. And you've got a voice for it too. Thank you for that. Thank you for singing. Look forward to hear more of that. Beautiful. By the way, I don't have to be the only one who says stuff. If you feel like exclaiming anything to anybody, feel free.
I'm happy to go if you.
Yes.
So I'm definitely not singing after Autumn. I'll tell you that much.
Me either.
No way. So this was really hard for me, actually. I felt like it was fun, but I felt really locked into the humming, the sound, and kind of I couldn't reach a lot of language because of it. So I just got sort of silly and whatever. So here it is. It's short. And okay. Oh, Mary B, won't you marry me? And then I will be your one. You took my heart for such a fright and promised me the sun. Oh, Mary B, look at me, the slowing lights begun. You took my favorite meal and then you drunk my oldest wine. You sang about our conversation and even that is fine. And down the river's road, oh Mary, we found you waiting there. You had that tiny smile and a hand upon your hair. You opened a wicker basket to show the life of what you lived. You led us down a weedy path too green to be deprived. You are my Mary, Mary, oh be it what it is. And like a yellow Mary B, you marked a yellow bruise. Oh, Mary B, if I say your name and crack it to its shard, will you come to me if I let you and muster my courage? I don't know what the heck. I think it was sort of like conjuring Halloween, and also like my teenage daughter's been talking a lot about like intense female relationships. So I think that came into.
I loved it. Did you just rhyme mustard and courage? I think that's what I heard. That's great.
Thank you.
I don't know how you can resist Mary and curds, though.
I know, it's true.
I thought that was great. I think you said you felt like you didn't know what was happening. I think it was good. You like went out of your normal zone or whatever, like, and it made all these things happen. It was really great. I think it's one of the poems you'll look back at like, wow. I mean, like, you probably think that already, but you should look at it again.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, is that we have all these disclaimers about what does and doesn't make sense, but that, and actually Derek kind of nailed that, right? It's like because it hunkers down into the feeling of the classical through the scheme, there's a story that's being told that the language, even though it kind of skimming the top of the story, we still feel the story, or not the story, but whatever is happening, something's happening more than I think, just because you didn't set out to make something happen, something happened. That's what I'm trying to say. And let's not forget the Jabberwocky. Because don't forget that the Jabberwocky is syntactically makes perfect sense, right? And it did, and it's that rhyme scheme. He's just plugging in those kind of nonsense words, creating that story, and it makes sense, even though we can't necessarily, you can't maybe, now we, you know what I mean? The Jabberwocky is a good thing to remember. Or it will gnaw at your prosody. Yes. So anyway, the point being, that idea is a good, as we come into the sort of assignment for the week, which is to write, listen to the playlist, or maybe find your own, think about your own tradition, your own lineage, your own heritage, your own ancestry. Think about the songs, the rhythms that have been passed down through that lineage in any way, and then plug into it. and you could even just plug into any song on the playlist that inspires you, that you feel in your bones. That's a really good indication that that form is ready to make something through you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Kay, was there something you said about place in relationship to what Philip had raised? My brain slipped out that one. That was a nice thought too about a prompt. Does anyone remember what that was?
Oh, yes.
Right.
I had said to write about somebody in your life that might not, the story might be untold, like a local hero or a friend that, you know, like the corner man or whatever, you know. And then Philip did a wild portrait of his neighbor, and then you were talking about the local. Who was talking about? I guess Philip was saying write the local, and somebody else said that too.
Thank you for that synopsis for the focus impaired.
Yeah, write the local.
I'm interested in that too. I was I teach in Queens, and I'm still investigating. But that's such a huge place. But I was trying to think of a Queen's epic or a Queen's poem that I could make a call for work, and I'm trying to think of that. But like the Ballad of Queens, that would be too. I feel like that'd be too limiting in a way. Like I want it to be a wild, open thing. But yeah, ballads would be good in it. But I'm trying to. If anybody has any suggestions about a title for a huge Queen's poem, I guess Queen's poem is good. But you know, I would love some ideas about how to call for that. Like, but starting, you know, where we are, like that's because I teach there, everybody's there, but now people are virtual, so who knows where they are. But anyway.
Woody Guthrie lived in Queens. I wonder if he wrote that.
Yeah, that's one of the great things is like so many amazing people live there. I mean, all the St. Albans, all the jazz musicians, and Louis Armstrong's house there. I forgot about Woody Guthrie. Thank you.
He lived in the Rockaways, which is the part of Queens people forget is Queens.
Oh yeah.
And Coney Island too, Brooklyn. Yeah.
All right. Well, so we are at the end of our hour. Are there any final sharings or thoughts or prompts or inspirations or?
I had two quick little things I just wanted to show you. Just I found my play party book, American Play Party song, and there's like all this thing. I wish I was a blank, like I wish I was a mole in the ground. There's like some wish I was a cowboy and all stuff. And then also this book is American broadside verse, and there's all these posters. I thought it'd be really cool to like do broadsides and like broadside ballads and sell them in the street and stuff, or like give them out, you know, give them for free, like paper, you know, with these crazy like tabloid kind of things of like, you know, opinion about what's going on with illustrations and cool typography.
Who's the author of the play songs?
Oh, it's B.A. Botkin.
Botkin, okay.
Is it backwards? A lucid exposition of the history of game songs and their place in the frontier society. I think it's a rare book. I grabbed it somewhere, but I'm happy to share, you know, pictures. I'll put it on the site.
And come back anytime with some play from some games and songs and things like that.
And I know y'all aren't all in New York City, but if anybody's around, I was thinking, we haven't done our parlor lately because of the pandemic, but I was thinking about doing an afternoon of Halloween on the steps, and our next door neighbors have staircase with a little platform. If it's not raining, we could do poetry and music up there, like in the afternoon before the trick-or-treating gets crazy. Like I was thinking like 4 o'clock, or because like there'll be kids around, so not totally gross, not really bad murder ballads, but you know.
Oh, come on.
You know,
are you seeing what those kids are watching on HBO or whatever?
Oh yeah, Netflix? I guess yeah, that's okay, but you know, whatever. But like just like a cello and some songs, you know, poetry on the stoop. I'll put an invite in there in the site. Yeah.
Leanne?
Yes.
I don't know who it was, but check out who was the queen that the Queens was named for.
Oh,
That's a good one.
that's a good idea.
That's a great idea.
Thank you.
Actually, in terms of those broadside ballads, that's a really good good thing to bring in. So I think Sam, what you wrote, that's a bit of a broadside ballad, right? Because you're kind of being critical, and
Yeah,
sort
that'd
of
be great.
kind of mocking, but critical at the same time. So it's serious and playful at the same time. That's kind of a broadside ballad. You could make a drawing to go with it and type it up around Wall Street. Posted around Wall Street. So yeah, all right. Well, more to come. So I recorded this and we'll share it with the other group. If there's anybody who really doesn't want their ballad to be or their whatever they wrote to be shared, let me know. I'll definitely look forward. Online what? Oh yeah, no, this is in Chelsea, New York City.
Yeah.
That's where Leanne lives. The
I'll give
Torn
it-
Page Salon. Leanne, do you have a website for the Torn Page Salon?
Yeah, we haven't put anything up there lately, but I'll try to put this up there and I'll put an invite in your special.
And I really do think it'd
site.
be fun to, try and get together with everybody. I'm working on that. There's a place in Woodstock I'm working on too. So I do think it would be fun to see if we can figure out how to do that. All right. Well, yay. Okay. Well, this was really awesome. Thank you everybody so much for your participation. And I really look forward to maybe, let these stew, simmer them in your cauldron and see what happens and see what other tunes kind of come in, let them in. It is the week of Halloween where we let the ghouls and the monsters and the monstrous kind of enter in, the ghosts. So let the ghost of the rhythm, the ghost of the song creep in and follow it.
I'm stirring and stirring and stirring my brew. Ooh, I'm stirring and stirring and stirring my brew. Ooh, tiptoe, 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 boom.